Aston Martin launched the DB7.
Ooh, that's a lovely noise. But, to be honest, I could pull this car apart. The early models were very badly made. And it wasn't just one thing either. Some of them caught fire, some of them just stopped. The one I had been built like Mr. Potato Head. It just sort of fell apart.
There's more too. It's based on the Jaguar XJS, which means its underpinnings are 25 years old now. And in dog years, that makes it 438.
Where's the climate control? Where's the radar-guided cruise control? Where's the voice activation for all the equipment you do get? Radio 2. CD track 3. Nothing. You get that sort of stuff these days on a Jag costing half the price, but not in this.
See what I mean about the noise? But where's the get up and go? Even with a 6-litre V12, it's no more powerful than a parish council.
I might also ask, where's the headroom? See, the problem is that the engine's computer is underneath the driver's seat, so it feels like you're sitting on a high chair. And it's even worse in the convertible, because the roof's about here. I could go on all day listing things that are wrong with this car. But think about it. If you had one and you were going out in the evening, you could say, shall we take the Aston? And that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Pretty good. Shall we take the Aston? Aston.
As you cruise round Mayfair past Purdy and Tiffany and Claridge's, you feel at home in a car like this. And it's not just the name that sends a shiver down the spine, it's the looks. And I don't think the DB7 is good-looking for a car, either. For me, the 3 best-looking things ever made by man are, at number 3, the Humber suspension bridge, at number 2, the SR-71 spy plane, and at number 1, this. The Aston Martin DB7.
Now, you know when Michael Parkinson has a cricketer on his show and you get that, my next guest is a remarkable man. The laws of physics mean nothing to him. And if I had ovaries, I'd bear his children. Well, that's how I feel right now, because I'm joined by the man who designed the DB7, Ian Cullen. Now, Ian, you know Ivan the Terrible? You don't know him, but Ivan the Terrible, when his people had built the basilica in St. Petersburg, he had their eyes gouged out so that they'd never do anything better. Mm-hmm. Did anyone at Aston Martin say, Ian, we've got to have your eyes, mate, because you're never going to top this? Certainly not if you're going to work for someone else, because where are you now, Jaguar?
I'm a Jaguar now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, well, they wanted Vanquish first, so they looked after me for a little while.
But that's another beauty. That's an absolute beauty.
Not bad.
And do you know the really scary thing, everybody, is I've heard that we're never really going to see the like of cars like this again because of legislation. From Brussels, is this?
Not necessarily. It's also from the car industry itself. It's self-policing, much of it.
Is it?
And it's pedestrian legislation.
So what kind of things wouldn't be allowed if you did the DB7 in a few years' time? What is it that's going to change on it?
Pedestrian legislation dictates you have to have a lot of air under the bonnet, between the bonnet and the engine.
So if you run someone over, their head hits the bonnet?
And it can actually deform into the bonnet.
How much air?
About 3 inches.
So you're going to need to get that bonnet...
Absolutely.
You can't just smooth it over the engine anymore,
no, we've got to lift it up above the engine. However, technology might help us there. We may be able to deploy the bonnet, but it's a very difficult thing to do.
Deploy it?
Actually deploy the bonnet, yes.
How do you mean deploy it?
It actually lifts up as a
What,
pedestrian.
you hit someone?
Yes.
That's
Very difficult to do.
fantastic.
very
It's
difficult
almost
to
worth
do.
someone running over. I'm going to run that person over. Whoa, look at my bonnet.
Very sensitive.
That is, you think that might be possible?
That may be possible, but it's not the immediate answer. There's also other legislation that's coming in, mainly from the US, for looking after unbelted occupants. That's those people who drive the car who do not wear seat belts. We must look after them, according to the law.
American law?
Absolutely.
So if they don't put
a lot
us
of
in
people in
Wilma goes,
America,
hell, I'm too fat to get this round.
a lot of people in America don't wear seat belts.
Really?
Really, absolutely.
And you've got to
we have to
design a
protect
car
them.
so that they don't hurt
An impact,
themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what kind of how will this change the shape of the front
Well,
of that?
what happens is we calculate the trajectory of the head, and that effectively sets up a package which comes in through the front of the car here. And what it'll mean in this car is that this point here has to go up and possibly forwards, which means the screen probably gets steeper because you
And
can't...
this presume, well, you'll have to move that out.
And
so
you have to
that'll
move
come-
that out as well, yes.
So that will come up. That's Postman Pat's van.
It's getting there.
Basically, you've got it going up straight to here and then along.
Well, that's probably exaggerating, but we do call it the ice cream van at work.
Well, I tell you what I'd like to do now, okay? Is I love it when I see these car designers. They can draw cars kind of beautifully when you just give them a pen and paper.
Some of them can.
I don't. If you did the Escort Cosworth and that, you can draw a car. Okay, let's get Peter in as well. Peter, this is your easel here. Ian, that's your easel there. Now, we want to think of something we want them to draw. Any suggestions? No, something we want to see in the future.
E-Type, the car.
E-Type. How about a modern-day E-Type? Since you're at Jaguar, this shouldn't be too difficult, and you're, well, at Jaguar as well, actually, although higher up. So let's go, right? You can both get cracking now. Quite tricky. And I'll tell you what, another easel here, I'll have a go as well. How hard can it be to be a car designer? Peter, is this okay for you? Because having worked at Volvo, they had Etch-a-Sketches there, didn't
That's
they?
true. We don't use computers.
First time we've ever had... Actually, I always start with the wheels. Anyone got a coin I can draw around? Are you going to be doing it with current legislation borne in mind, or are you going to be doing what you'd like to do without the Americans being involved?
I think we'll do what we like to do.
Yeah.
OK, that's a good idea. How big should it be with wheels that big? Why are you laughing? It's not a Hummer. It's an E-Type. I've finished. It's fantastic. Let's have a look at yours then. Where's the engine? Is it
It's in front. It's in front,
It's a
yes.
front engine.
Yes, front engine.
That's fantastic.
Could be mid-engine, actually.
I quite like you've got no overhang at all. The DB7's got quite a big one.
Yeah, none at all.
That's very beautiful. And let's have a look what the former Volvo man's done.
Well, early days, but...
It's exactly the same. How did you do that? That is exactly the same as this. Don't way. Get the camera. Look at that. That's exactly the same as... Can we get the two of them brought together? I'll definitely put your name on this. It's nipped to it. Look at that.
OK.
They're exactly the same.
Well, that's why we're both designing Jaguars.
Exactly. Do you know what I think, looking at this? I suspect, boys, that there is an E-Type Jag coming and that you both know exactly what it looks like.